imagine a young woman named Sarah. She sits alone in her small apartment, staring out the window as the world buzzes by. On the surface, Sarah appears to have it all: a decent job, a cozy home, and friends who care about her. Yet, deep inside, she feels empty. Each day blends into the next, and she grapples with a nagging question: what is the true purpose of her life? Sarah often scrolls through social media, seeing the happy smiles of others and their adventurous lives, which only deepens her sense of inadequacy. She wonders if she'll ever feel fulfilled or truly happy. This feeling of emptiness pulls at her heart as she struggles to find meaning in her daily routine. One evening, feeling particularly lost, Sarah takes a walk in the park. As she strolls among the trees, she notices a group of people gathered around a table. They're handing out food to those in need, homeless individuals who look tired and worn. Curious, Sarah stops to watch. Something inside her stirs; she feels compelled to join them. With a hesitant smile, she approaches the group and offers to help. At first, it feels strange to step out of her comfort zone, but as she serves warm meals and shares kind words with those in need, something shifts within her. The laughter and gratitude she receives in return fill her heart with joy. In that moment, Sarah begins to understand what it means to give of herself. This experience echoes the words of Jesus from Matthew 16 verse 25, "Whoever loses his life for my sake will find it." At first glance, this might seem confusing. How can losing something lead to gaining something greater? But in Sarah's case, letting go of her selfish worries allowed her to connect with others and find genuine happiness. The more she gives, her time, kindness, and love, the more fulfilled she feels. Sarah realizes that true purpose doesn't come from chasing after success or recognition; it comes from serving others and building meaningful connections. She starts volunteering regularly, eager to continue this journey of selflessness. As we reflect on Sarah's story, we can ask ourselves, what are we holding on to that prevents us from experiencing true joy? Perhaps it's our fears or our attachment to material things. Jesus invites us to let go of these burdens so we can discover what truly matters. In our busy lives, it's easy to lose sight of our purpose. But like Sarah, we can find fulfillment by giving ourselves to others. So today, let's take a step back and consider how we can embrace Jesus' teaching in our own lives. What small act of kindness can you do today that might lead you to find your own path toward purpose and happiness? As Sarah continues her journey of discovery, she finds herself reflecting deeply on the teachings of Jesus. One particular verse resonates with her, Matthew 16 verse 25, where Jesus states, "Whoever loses his life for my sake will find it." At first, this phrase seemed puzzling to Sarah. How could losing something lead to gaining something even greater? But as she serves others, the meaning begins to unfold. In a world that often encourages us to chase after success, wealth, and personal happiness, Jesus presents a radical idea. His words challenge the very core of what we have been taught. While society tells us that fulfillment comes from acquiring more possessions, more status, and more recognition, Jesus flips this notion upside down. He urges us to consider that true joy lies not in what we gain for ourselves, but in what we willingly give away. To explore this message further, let's step back into history. When Jesus spoke these words to his disciples, he wasn't just sharing a comforting thought, he was preparing them for the path ahead. They were about to face challenges, suffering, and even persecution for their beliefs. Jesus knew that clinging to their own lives and desires would only lead them to despair. In losing their lives, by following him and serving others, they would discover a life filled with hope and purpose. Sarah begins to grasp this idea as she volunteers regularly at the shelter. In those moments spent with people who face great struggles, she sees how sharing her time and kindness brings light not only into their lives but also into her own. She remembers feeling alone and empty in her apartment, yet here she is, surrounded by warmth and gratitude that makes her heart sing. As Sarah journeys further into this understanding, she notices something profound happening within her, a shift in perspective. The more she gives of herself, the less consumed she becomes by her worries and insecurities. It's as if shedding her need for recognition has opened the door to a deeper kind of connection with others. This reflection invites all of us to consider the same question: what does it mean to lose our lives for the sake of something greater? It could mean letting go of our fears, releasing our tight grip on material things, or stepping out of our comfort zones to help those in need. As we embark on this path together, let's hold on to Jesus' timeless message. By prioritizing others and willingly sacrificing for their sake, we might just find the true joy and purpose we've been searching for all along. So ask yourself, what can you let go of today to embrace a life filled with love and service? As we continue exploring this journey together, remember that every small act counts on our quest toward finding true meaning in life. As Sarah continues her journey of self-discovery, she reflects on the concept of losing one's life that Jesus spoke of. What does it truly mean to lose our lives for something greater? At first, this idea can feel abstract or even daunting. But as Sarah dives deeper, she uncovers the beauty of selflessness, sacrifice, and letting go of worldly desires. To lose one's life in this context isn't about physical loss or giving up everything we care about, it's about shifting our focus from ourselves to those around us. It entails a willingness to set aside our own needs and wants to uplift others, whether through acts of kindness, service, or compassion. Consider this: when Sarah volunteers at the shelter, she often meets individuals who have faced unimaginable hardships. There's Jake, a man in his 50s who lost his home due to circumstances beyond his control. At first glance, he seems to have nothing left. But as Sarah listens to his story and shares her own experiences with him, she realizes that true connection comes from vulnerability and empathy. In losing her fear of judgment and allowing herself to be present with Jake, she opens a door to understanding that transcends material possessions. Another example is Maria, a single mother working multiple jobs just to make ends meet. She often skips meals so her children can eat. One day, when Sarah learns about Maria's struggles during a meal distribution at the shelter, she feels moved to do something impactful. Instead of keeping her extra groceries, she decides to share them with Maria and her kids. The warmth of giving lights up Sarah's heart as she watches their faces fill with joy and gratitude. These stories highlight that losing one's life is not just an idea, it is an action rooted in love and compassion. Sarah sees how sacrificing a little bit of her time or resources allows others to regain hope and dignity. Letting go of worldly desires also plays a crucial role in this understanding. In our society, we are often told that success is measured by our bank accounts or social media followers. However, Jesus invites us to redefine success through the lens of love and service instead. When we release our attachment to material things, like that fancy car or designer clothes, we create space for richer experiences built on meaningful relationships. As viewers consider what it means for them personally to lose their lives, let's reflect: what are you holding onto that might be weighing you down? Is it fear of failure? A need for recognition? Through selflessness and sacrifice, we can find freedom from these burdens. Ultimately, embracing the teachings of Jesus leads us toward genuine joy, a joy found in knowing we've made someone else's life a little brighter. Take a moment today, whether it's helping a neighbor or being kind to a stranger, and see how losing your life for the sake of love can lead you closer to discovering your true purpose. As Sarah continues to embrace the teachings of Jesus in her life, she begins to delve into the biblical context behind his powerful message. Understanding the world in which Jesus lived helps her appreciate why his words resonate so deeply, even today. Jesus was born into a society that prized power, wealth, and status. The Roman Empire ruled much of the known world, and many people believed that happiness and success came from social standing or material possessions. In this culture, it was easy to measure a person's worth by their riches or influence. But Jesus stood in stark contrast to these values. He lived a humble life, often associating with the marginalized, those whom society overlooked. From a young age, Jesus began teaching about love, compassion, and service. He didn't just preach these ideals, he lived them out daily. He spent time with the poor, healed the sick, and dined with sinners. These actions often puzzled and angered religious leaders who believed strict adherence to laws and rituals defined righteousness. Jesus challenged those norms by emphasizing that loving others and being selfless were at the heart of true faith. His followers faced their own struggles too. They left their homes and jobs to follow him, embracing a life of uncertainty in search of spiritual truth. Many were fishermen or tax collectors who faced ridicule for choosing this path over traditional pursuits of wealth or status. Yet amidst these challenges, they found a sense of purpose that transcended societal expectations. When Jesus spoke about losing one's life for his sake, he wasn't merely asking for blind devotion, he was inviting his followers to step away from societal pressures and discover deeper fulfillment through selflessness. This message countered the cultural belief that success is measured by what one accumulates, and instead proposed that joy comes from serving others. For example, during moments like the Last Supper when he washed his disciples' feet, a task reserved for servants, Jesus embodied humility and service. This act was revolutionary. It showed that greatness is not about ruling over others but lifting them up. As Sarah learns more about this context, she sees how relevant these messages are today. In a culture still fixated on materialism and fame, Jesus' teachings remind us that true strength lies in our willingness to care for others. The challenges faced by his early followers mirror our own struggles as we navigate societal pressures to succeed in conventional ways. Reflecting on this backdrop helps Sarah understand her own calling more profoundly. She realizes that just as Jesus empowered those around him through love and kindness, she too can make an impact in her community by embodying those same values. Let's take a moment to consider how we might be influenced by worldly standards of success. What if we embraced the radical idea of finding meaning through service? By following in Jesus' footsteps and prioritizing love over material gain, we might also discover our true purpose, just as Sarah is learning every day on her journey toward fulfillment. As Sarah reflects on her newfound understanding of selflessness, she recalls an inspiring story about a group of friends who transformed their community through acts of service, embodying the very essence of Jesus' message. In a small town, there was a tight-knit group of friends known as the Helping Hands. This group consisted of people from varied backgrounds: teachers, nurses, retirees, and even teenagers. Despite their differences, they shared a common belief in the power of community and the importance of caring for one another. One evening, while gathered at their local coffee shop, they began discussing the increasing number of homeless individuals in their town. They felt compelled to take action. Inspired by Jesus' teachings about serving others, they decided to launch Meals on Wheels for their town. Their goal was simple yet profound: provide nutritious meals and companionship to those in need. The friends pooled their resources and created schedules for cooking and delivering meals every weekend. They also organized food drives to collect supplies for individuals living on the streets. As they embarked on this mission, challenges arose. At first, it was difficult to reach out to those who were hesitant or too proud to accept help. Some recipients were wary of strangers knocking on their doors with food. However, the friends kept visiting with warm smiles and open hearts. Slowly but surely, trust began to build. One winter evening, as snow fell lightly around them, they encountered a man named Tom who had been living under a bridge for months. Initially resistant to their offer of help, Tom's hardened exterior began to melt when he saw the genuine kindness in their eyes. After several encounters filled with cups of hot cocoa and conversations that lingered into the night, he started opening up about his struggles. This is where transformation truly took root, not just in Tom's life but within every member of the Helping Hands group as well. Tom's story inspired them all. They realized how quickly they had judged people based on appearances or circumstances without understanding their pain. Tom eventually accepted a place in a local shelter where he could become part of a support program aimed at helping him regain his independence. With encouragement from his new friends, he began taking steps toward job training and even discovered a newfound passion for carpentry. As word spread about the Helping Hands and Tom's journey of recovery, more people joined the cause, transforming it into something bigger than any one individual ever imagined possible. They watched as lives changed not only in physical ways but inside as well. Smiles grew wider, friendships blossomed, and communities became united through love and service. This powerful story shows us that when we embody self-sacrifice and place others' needs above our own, transformation happens, both in ourselves and those we help. Just like Sarah learned through her own experiences volunteering, we have the power to change lives by following Jesus' example. As you go through your own life today, think about how you can be like the Helping Hands or Tom, ready to embrace change through acts of kindness. Reflect on who you might help in your community or how you can support someone facing difficulties. Each small effort contributes to a larger impact. Together we can create ripples of love that resonate far beyond ourselves. What step will you take today toward service? Remember, losing our lives for others can lead us to find deeper purpose than we ever thought possible. As Sarah continues on her path of understanding, she reflects on Jesus as the ultimate example of self-sacrifice. His life and teachings resonate deeply with her evolving perspective on fulfillment. Jesus didn't just preach about losing one's life for the sake of others, he lived it every single day. From his childhood, when he amazed teachers in the temple, to his adult ministry filled with miracles and compassion, Jesus exemplified love and service. He healed the sick, fed the hungry, and comforted those who were hurting. But it was during the weightier moments, the times that demanded profound sacrifice, where his true character shone through. Consider how Jesus chose to serve those society often marginalized. He dined with tax collectors and sinners, much to the dismay of powerful religious leaders. His interactions showed that true love sees beyond titles and social status, it recognizes humanity. By embracing those at the fringes, Jesus demonstrated a powerful act of selflessness that challenges us today. One of the most powerful illustrations of his sacrifice occurred during the Last Supper when he washed his disciples' feet, a job usually assigned to servants. In this act, Jesus taught them that leadership doesn't equate to privilege but rather to humble service. He flipped societal norms upside down. When he took on such a lowly task, he prepared them for their future roles as leaders in a world that would need their compassionate hearts. Then came his ultimate act of love, the crucifixion. As Jesus hung on the cross, suffering for sins he did not commit, he epitomized losing one's life for the sake of others. In those final moments, he offered forgiveness to his executioners, showing unconditional love even in pain. This extraordinary sacrifice was not an end, it was a new beginning offering hope and salvation to humankind, a testament to how profound love can change lives. Today, we are still called to follow this example of sacrificial love in our own lives. It can be easy to cling tightly to our own comfort or desires, but observing Jesus challenges us to let go of what we think we need for something far greater, deep connections with others. Modern interpretations of sacrifice may vary from person to person. Perhaps it's spending time helping a neighbor or donating resources to those in need. It could mean standing up for someone's rights or simply being present for a friend who's struggling. All these acts reflect sacrificial love that resonates with Christ's teachings. As Sarah contemplates these examples from Jesus' life, she feels inspired anew, not just to serve in big ways but also in small acts that can ripple through communities. She understands now that losing her life doesn't equate to giving up, instead, it means finding purpose by elevating others. In your life today, think about how you might embody this principle of sacrifice like Jesus did. What is something you could willingly let go of or share? Every act counts toward making connections that carry hope and light into our world. Remember, when we choose love over selfishness, we open ourselves up to experience profound joy and purpose, just as Jesus modeled for us all those years ago. As Sarah continues to deepen her understanding of selflessness and sacrifice, she becomes eager to share practical ways that others can apply Jesus' teachings in their daily lives. Inspired by her experiences and the example set by Jesus, she realizes that small acts of kindness can lead to significant impacts. First, Sarah encourages viewers to start with simple acts of kindness. This could be as easy as holding the door open for someone or offering a genuine compliment. These little gestures can brighten someone's day and create connections that might have otherwise been overlooked. In a world that often feels rushed and disconnected, these moments of kindness can be powerful reminders that we are all in this together. Next, she highlights the importance of volunteering. Whether it's serving meals at a local shelter, participating in community cleanups, or tutoring children after school, volunteering provides opportunities to meet people in need and experience the joy that comes from helping others. Sarah recalls how her own volunteering journey opened her heart and allowed her to see the world through different lenses. Volunteering not only helps those who receive assistance but also enriches the lives of those who give their time. Another way to embody Jesus' teachings is to prioritize relationships over material gains. In our consumer-driven society, it's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of success and possessions. Sarah urges viewers to take a step back and evaluate what truly matters. Are there connections with family or friends that need nurturing? Perhaps setting aside time each week for family dinners or coffee dates with friends could help strengthen those important relationships. By putting people first, we create a supportive network that fosters love and compassion. Additionally, Sarah suggests engaging in acts of service within the workplace or school. Simple things like offering help to a colleague struggling with a task or organizing a fundraiser for a cause can transform the environment into one filled with positivity and collaboration. These actions reflect the spirit of self-sacrifice and can inspire others to join in. Finally, Sarah reminds everyone that it's essential to practice self-reflection regularly. Taking time each day to think about how we can be more compassionate can lead us to identify new ways to serve others. Journaling thoughts or setting intentions for kindness can keep us focused on our goal of living out the message of love and service. As she concludes this segment, Sarah invites viewers to consider their own lives. What small steps can they take today to embody the teachings of Jesus? How can they let go of selfish desires to find deeper fulfillment? Every act, no matter how small, contributes to a larger tapestry of love and connection in our communities. Let's remember that losing our lives for the sake of others doesn't mean giving up. Instead, it means finding true purpose through acts of love and service. By incorporating these practices into our daily lives, we not only become vessels of hope for others but also discover profound joy and meaning ourselves. So, what will you choose to do today? The journey toward selflessness is ongoing, and every step taken toward service brings us closer to the heart of Jesus' teachings. As Sarah reflects on her journey, she invites viewers to pause and consider their own lives. She understands that in the rush of everyday activities, it's easy to get caught up in material pursuits, personal achievements, and societal expectations. However, true fulfillment often lies just beneath the surface of our busy lives, waiting for us to uncover it through deeper introspection. Let's take a moment, she says softly, to think about what truly matters to each of us. What are the things we're holding onto that may be weighing us down? Are there fears that keep us from reaching out or desires that distract us from what really brings joy? Jesus taught us that losing our lives for the sake of others can lead us to find something far more rewarding. Sarah encourages each viewer to think about one specific thing they might need to let go of. Perhaps it's a fear of failure that prevents them from taking risks or an obsession with perfection that hinders their relationships. Are you prioritizing your job over family and friends? Or maybe it's a habit of comparing yourself to others on social media that leaves you feeling inadequate, she asks. She reminds everyone that letting go doesn't mean abandoning priorities, it means reassessing them. It's about shifting focus from self-centered goals to those that uplift and enhance the community around us. In her own life, Sarah had to learn to release her need for validation from her job and instead embrace the joy that came from serving others. Next, Sarah gently suggests reflecting on what might bring true joy. Ask yourself, what lights up your heart? Is it spending time with loved ones? Helping someone in need? Or pursuing a passion that brings you peace? These questions can guide each individual toward understanding where they might be able to serve and connect more deeply. Additionally, she encourages viewers to consider writing down their thoughts. Journaling can be a powerful tool, she explains. It allows you to process your feelings and clarify your intentions. Write about the changes you want to make or the smaller steps you can take toward greater fulfillment. Documenting this journey can provide insight into your growth. As Sarah closes this segment, she emphasizes the beauty of transformation that comes from service. When we let go of selfish desires, we often find ourselves surrounded by love and community. Each time we reach out to help another person, we enrich our own lives. It's in those moments of connection where we truly discover who we are meant to be. So, with an open heart, she invites viewers, what will you choose to let go of today? What steps will you take toward living a life filled with purpose and joy? Remember, when we embrace selflessness and prioritize others, we not only change their lives but also spark a transformation within ourselves. With those thoughts lingering in the air, Sarah hopes her audience feels inspired to take action, knowing that every step toward losing oneself for the sake of others ultimately uncovers a profound sense of meaning and fulfillment in life. As Sarah's journey unfolds, she feels a growing sense of empowerment, and now she wants to inspire viewers to take action in their own lives. It's time to embrace the idea of losing ourselves for something greater, she says with conviction. True joy and purpose are found not in pursuing our own desires but in serving others and following the path that Jesus laid out for us. She reflects on the countless individuals around the world who have made sacrifices for their communities, drawing from her experiences and the stories of others who have walked this transformative path. Every day, we have the opportunity to make a difference, no matter how small, she continues. When we choose to serve, we step into a greater purpose that fills our hearts with meaning. Sarah invites viewers to think about ways they can embody the spirit of service in their daily lives. Maybe it's volunteering at a local shelter or helping a neighbor in need. Perhaps it's simply taking the time to listen to someone who feels alone. These acts of kindness can create ripples of change that extend far beyond ourselves, she emphasizes. She also encourages everyone to share their experiences with others. When you decide to serve, don't keep it to yourself. Share your story, encourage someone else to join you. Together, we can inspire a movement of love and compassion. Imagine how we can transform our communities when each of us commits to one act of service at a time. As Sarah continues, she emphasizes that losing oneself for the sake of others is not a sacrifice in vain, it's an investment in true fulfillment. You might feel like you're giving up something important, but what you gain is far more valuable: a deeper connection with others and a clearer sense of your own purpose. She highlights the power of community, saying, "When we prioritize serving others, we build bonds that uplift and strengthen us all." This is how we echo Jesus' message in our lives, by creating spaces of acceptance and understanding where everyone feels valued. With heartfelt sincerity, Sarah asks viewers to reflect on their own journeys. What fear or hesitation is holding you back from taking that first step? What burdens can you release to open your heart to service? She encourages them, reminding that these are normal feelings, but they shouldn't prevent us from living out our purpose. As she closes her message, Sarah says, "Let today be the day you take that important step toward selflessness." Whether through volunteering, offering a helping hand, or simply being there for someone, choose love over selfishness. Remember, she adds softly, when we lose ourselves for the sake of others, we find true joy, the kind of joy that lasts and transforms not just our lives but those around us. So, let's go forth and ignite this spirit of service together. The world is waiting for your light. Sarah hopes to leave viewers feeling inspired and empowered to act, knowing that every effort towards serving others contributes to a brighter future filled with purpose and fulfillment. As we come to the end of this journey together, Sarah takes a moment to reflect on the timeless nature of Jesus' teachings. With a warm smile and sincerity in her voice, she reminds viewers that the principles of selflessness, love, and service have resonated through generations. These teachings are not just ideas from the past, she says. They are powerful guides for our lives today. Sarah encourages everyone to think back on what they've learned throughout this video. Each story shared, each lesson reflected upon, holds the potential to inspire positive change, not only within ourselves but in our communities as well. What we do matters. She highlights that the act of losing one's life for others may feel daunting at times, yet it is in these acts of service where true fulfillment lies. Remember the impact of small actions, Sarah continues. Whether it's sharing a meal with someone hungry or simply listening with an open heart to a friend in distress, every act contributes to a larger tapestry of kindness and connection. She pauses for a moment to let these words sink in before inviting viewers to consider how they can put these lessons into practice. Moreover, she emphasizes the importance of creating a supportive community around these values. I invite you all to share your reflections and experiences in the comments below, she encourages warmly. Let's create a space where we can uplift one another and share ideas on how we can serve in our own lives. Your stories have the power to inspire others. Together, we can cultivate an atmosphere of love and compassion. Sarah believes that by connecting through shared experiences, we can strengthen our resolve to follow Jesus' path. We are all on this journey together, each facing our unique challenges and victories, she notes. Let's support each other as we strive to embody these teachings. In closing, Sarah reminds everyone that Jesus' message is universal and applies no matter where we are in life. When you choose to lose yourself for something greater, whether that be serving others or embracing kindness, you will find joy waiting for you on the other side, she shares with heartfelt conviction. So, as you move forward from this video, carry with you the spirit of service and embody love in your daily interactions. Reflect on what you can do today to uplift someone else, because every action has value, no matter how small. With that thought lingering in their minds, Sarah hopes her viewers feel inspired and empowered not just by her words but also by the call to be more compassionate individuals. Remember, she concludes gently, the world is waiting for your light. Let us shine together as we reflect the love and teachings of Jesus in everything we do. As viewers take their next steps along this journey of service and selflessness, Sarah leaves them with encouragement. May your hearts be filled with purpose today and always.